Let's talk about specialization for your youngster. Now, I understand, of course, why parents are so eager to get their kid to specialize in just one sport at a very early age. Now, parents won't necessarily tell you this, but certainly they all feel that, well, if I get my kid to specialize in just one sport, that's going to give them a leg up on all their competitors and on their peers as they progress up the ladder, up the pyramid of competitive sports. But there's a flaw in that reasoning. First of all, understand that most top professional athletes, well, they didn't specialize in a sport until perhaps they were a sophomore or junior in high school. And in many cases, they never specialized at all until they got to college or the pro ranks. In fact, in this past year's NFL draft, in the first round, something like 91% of all the guys who were drafted in that first round did not specialize in football at all. So understand there were some concerns as well as some medical concerns of specialization. First of all, at the early ages, and I'm talking under the age of 12, yes, if you play the same sport all year round, that can lead to something known as repetitive use injuries. Now, that's a term that orthopedics use all the time these days, but it's also a term that didn't exist a generation ago. Why? Because a generation ago, kids growing up played a variety of sports. They just didn't focus all their efforts into one sport. In addition to concerns about repetitive use injuries, there's also a new medical term that's been coined, and that's burnout. In just the last few weeks, the medical profession has said, yes, burnout is a real concern and parents and coaches should be aware of it. How does burnout come about? It comes from kids who specialize in one sport. In other words, let's say your son or your daughter is a soccer player, and they've been told at an early age that they're gifted in this sport, and if they really want to get to the next level, meaning perhaps a college scholarship or perhaps professional, what they really need to do at this juncture, and this could be as early as 9 or 10 years old, is to play on a year-round travel team. So the parents are thrilled, they're excited, they're flattered, the kid's excited as well, and the youngster starts to play soccer pretty much all year round. But something happens usually around the age of 11 or 12 or even 13. Something happens where the youngster sort of says, well, you know, I'm really good at soccer, but I find that I'm missing out on other things in my life. Perhaps going to parties or sleepover events with my friends, or some days I'm tired and I want to sleep in when I have to go to soccer practice. Very gradually, what happens is that the youngster begins to find that what has been such a joyous event, that of playing soccer, that of play, has now somehow transformed into work. It's an obligation. It's my job. I work at playing soccer. And when that happens, that's the first real telltale signs of burnout. And that's something where parents really have to be concerned about, because unfortunately, when kids walk away from a sport as early as 12 or 13 due to burnout, they rarely come back to it, no matter how talented they may very well be. So understand specialization is not necessarily the road to success in sports. Let your child decide what sports they want to play. Don't you dictate to them what they should be playing. Let them tell you, I like to try this, I like to try that. Yeah, the early years are going to be complicated because they might be playing a variety of activities and sports. Do the best you can to support that. As they get older, they will begin to migrate to that sport or sports that they play the best and enjoy the most. But in terms of specialization, just be careful about that, because it doesn't always lead to where you want to go.